And we are live. Oops. Okie dokie. So, I think we're going to start with the most juiciest ones, which is going to be a bit of a scandal on Caroline Lewitt's family, which is something we never want to happen to anyone, but it is ironic when it happens to a character like Caroline Lewitt, which is Caroline Lewitt's sister-in-law was arrested. ICE arrested woman with family connections to White House Press Secretary Caroline Lewitt, which is the sister-in-law of Caroline Lewitt, the Press Secretary of the United States, the White House, I mean. DHS identified the woman as Brazilian national and a criminal illegal alien. So this is going to be interesting to see how the White House handles this.
Welcome back to ABC News Live. First, Homeland Security confirms ICE arrested a woman a source says has a connection to White House Press Secretary Caroline Lewitt. Meanwhile, refugees admitted into the U.S. during the Biden administration could be in jeopardy of losing their legal status. Immigration reporter Armando Garcia and Justice reporter Luke Barr are here for more on that. Armando, what's the latest on this woman ICE detained, and what's her connection to Caroline Lewitt?
Well, this is her nephew's mother. DHS has forcefully described her as a criminal illegal alien, saying that she had a previous arrest for battery and overstayed a visa, presumably when she came to the United States when she was a child. Her lawyer is pushing back on some of these claims, saying that she had absolutely no criminal record, certainly no criminal record that would have prevented her from getting deferred action for childhood arrival status. And he's also saying that this is somebody who is now being held in Louisiana, thousands of miles away from home. They plan to challenge her arrest in federal court.
And Luke, a memo obtained by ABC News shows the Trump administration is directing U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to review refugees admitted during President Biden's time in office. What's the goal here?
Yeah, so Diane, those who were admitted during the former President Biden's time in office will be under review, and some might even have to go through another interview. And the memo that we obtained says that basically those who were admitted and will be they're going to look at all of those who were admitted and see within 3 months if they're, need to go through a re-interview. They're going to identify people who don't need to go through a re-interview. And let me just read you a quote, Diane, from this memo. It says, quote, throughout this evaluation phase, in order to make improvements, USCIS has identified that from January.
So, U.S. immigration authorities have detained a woman who is the mother of White House Press Secretary Caroline Lewitt's nephew, according to the source familiar with the arrest. A DHS spokesperson identified the woman as Bruna Caroline Ferreira. A report with ABC New Hampshire station WMUR spoke with Lewitt's brother Michael Lewitt, who also confirmed the arrest and said she was detained a few weeks ago. According to Michael Lewitt, his 11-year-old son has lived with him since he was born, but says the child maintains a relationship with her mother. A DHS spokesperson described Ferreira, a Brazilian national, as a criminal illegal alien who has previous arrest for battery and overstayed a visa that expired in 1999. ICE arrested Bruna Caroline Ferreira, a criminal illegal alien from Brazil. She has a previous arrest for battery. She entered the U.S. on a B-2 tourist visa that required her to depart the U.S. by June 6, 1999. She is currently at the South Louisiana ICE processing center and is in removal proceedings. Under President Trump's and Secretary Noem, all individuals unlawfully presented in the United States are subject to deportation, the spokesperson said. Todd Pomerleau, an attorney for Ferreira, spoke with Boston ABC station WCVB and pushed back on claims that Ferreira has a criminal history. Bruna has no criminal record whatsoever. I don't know where this is coming from. Show us the proof, said the lawyer. I mean, that's the only way you can really challenge that. Is like, hey, that's bullshit. Please show us evidence of this. Pomerleau also said Ferreira entered the country lawfully, previously held DACA. What up, Carvelis? DACA status and is currently in the process of obtaining a green card. He said his client was arrested in her car in Massachusetts after being stopped with no warrant, adding that he now has to litigate her case in Louisiana, thousands of miles away from home. Pomerleau said he did not believe that his client's connections to Caroline Leavitt could affect the case, adding that he believes it's just happenstance. The White House declined to comment, which is not surprising. An online fundraising campaign set up by a person claiming to be Ferreira's sister says she was brought to the country when she was a child in '98. Anyone who knows Bruna knows the kind of person she is. She is hardworking, kind, and always the first one to offer help when someone needs it, whether it's supporting family, friends, or even strangers. Happy birthday! Is it my birthday? It's not my birthday, but thanks for the happy birthdays anyway. Is it my birthday? No. Would be nice though. Yeah, it is. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. Let's see if Caroline Leavitt has responded. Now it is. Okay. Where's my cake? Okay, this is not related to this topic, but goddamn, Gavin Newsom. That's a good nickname. Caroline Leavitt. Oh my god, I love that. Caroline Leavitt. So there's no... Again, TikTok wants that I can't be referred to anyone because I'm reading news. Rehashed content. I don't know how that's possible though, but that's kind of bullshit though. And the appeal button doesn't really work. But yeah, Caroline Leavitt hasn't responded to this at all. China. It must be China. We're talking about Taiwan and Hong Kong today, so that's the only reason I find that they're doing this to my lives. Rehashing content. That's kind of wild. But yeah, nothing new from the White House and nothing new from Caroline Leavitt. Sad. But depends on their relationship, because the woman is the mother of the nephew of Caroline Leavitt. Depends how good of a relationship Caroline Leavitt has with the mother. If they are good friends still, she might be out in just like a few days. Except she's already been there for weeks, so. But I would assume because of that, they are not in good relations. I'm just after changing your birthday to today legally. Oh, nice. No. I would age faster because my birthday is coming up in March, so that would mean that I would be 37 earlier. Let's not do that.
Each other while they're serving overseas. My next guests are serving in the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Division.
George prosecuted Trump's election interference case against Trump. The Fulton County, Georgia election interference case against President Donald Trump and others has been dismissed after the prosecutor who took over the case requested that it be dropped. What date in March? I'm not falling for that. Too much personalized information. I've had some trainings about like what not to say and what to say. In my professional judgment, citizens of Georgia are not served by pursuing this case in full for another 5 or 10 years. The prosecution attorney's counsel of Georgia, who took over the case after the original prosecutor was disqualified from the case. Within minutes of Skandalakis court filing, the judge overseeing the case granted the request and dismissed the case. This case is hereby dismissed in its entirety, wrote Fulton County Judge. So I'm in the military filing right now. Trump and 18 others pled not guilty in August 2023 to all charges in a sweeping racketeering indictment for all alleged efforts to overturn the results of 2020 presidential election in the state of Georgia. The charges, which were brought by Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis following Trump's January 2nd, 2021 phone call in which he asked Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find the votes needed to win the state, alleged that the defendants solicited state leaders throughout the country, harassed and misled Georgia election workers, and pushed phony claims that the election was stolen, all in an effort for Trump to remain in power despite his election loss. Do you like Trump? Not a huge fan, though. I don't think it's like anything to do with like or dislike. Well, it is kind of like I don't really like people who lie for a living. You know, I'm not American. I'm not either. So, but then again, Trump was a perfect politician because he already lied before he became a politician. So he had a lot of practice throughout the years of lying. And that's why he got to power, is because of the lies. So he's a charlatan, snake oil salesman. And that's why people believed him. That's why he got away with so many bankruptcies and like failed businesses. It's because he could lie so much that he would get more funding. So it's unfortunate. Do you do fishing? Yeah. Well, not anymore, but like I used to fish quite a lot. I do like fishing though. Not necessarily like, I don't even mind if I don't get anything. But just being in the nature and like relaxing and chilling. So it's kind of nice. Fishing is one of those activities that you can do just for hours and hours at a time. What did you fish for? In Finland, we didn't really have that many things to fish though. We had pikes and trout and salmon and bass and... But usually like pikes and... what is that one fish called? Just a second out. But pikes were the most common one, and bass, of course. Like those are the easy ones to get. Just a sec, I'll find you the word. Taken. Okay. Apparently there's a fish called taken. That's kind of weird. I didn't know it's called taken in English. That doesn't sound right. Sander sounds more like pike, perch, or sander. If you rap right now, I'll donate 100%. Eminem coming up. I can't rap. Hey Drake, I know you like them young. You don't ever want to go to Cell Block 1 or something like that. Did you see the report about the shooting of Trump? That was movie scene. What report? Was there a new reporting of that? Early details after Georgia prosecutor drops election interference case against Trump. I wonder if it's this one. Following a mounting pressure, the FBI has released more details on the attempt of Donald Trump's life before he became. You look like Zeke Yeager without a beard. Who the hell is Zeke Yeager? Oh. Oh my god, my daughter is gonna kill me. It's from Attack on Titan. Oh my god. I have to be honest, I've watched only like a handful of episodes of like Attack on Titan and I don't remember that character at all. I have to ask my daughter what she thinks about that. On this day, 20-year-old Thomas Crook successfully shot the president candidate Donald Trump in the ear while he was speaking on the stage. It is the greatest written piece of fiction in history. Okay, well that could be a debate. It is good. I know the lore, but I do think that Genshin is probably one of the best ever. If you have never read Genshin, I don't want to spoil what it was written backwards. Was that a pun on because it's a manga and it's always written in backwards if you're a Westerner? But I do know that because I spoiled myself the storyline of Attack on Titan. I'll donate 100 if you move the camera. Where do you want to move it? Oh, my back is visible there. Not anymore, it isn't. It actually is. Now the question is, I have two YouTube chats. Which one is it? I'll move both cameras. No, they're both the same. I don't got €100. Oh, god damn you. Bait it. But yeah, like, if we're talking about great storylines, I do think that Genshin is arguably one of the greatest. It's not a long story, but it is a good one, and especially because it's kind of grounded in real life as well. Then we have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, of course. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a really good one as well. What else? What else bangers do we have? Like Full Metal Alchemist, Kenshin. I got to go. Hey, thanks for dropping by, Carvilus. But yeah, Attack on Titan is a really good one. I have to give also credit to One Piece. One Piece is really, really good. It is a long story though. It is a daunting task to start watching or reading One Piece, but it is 100% a really good one. But it will consume your life. But I don't think there's any... Oh, maybe it's this one. The FBI officials also noted that crooks may have planned to take even more lives now. The receiver was positioned in the off position. not sure what, like, new report on Trump assassination. It's not this one. Let's put past 24 hours. Oh, that's Guinea-Bissau one. I couldn't find anything. It's hard to talk about that because, like, we can't really, like, find out if it's real. And if there was some groundbreaking, I think the internet would be full of it. So I hope that Trump gets another ruling when it comes to that election interference he tried to do during 2020. There is no realistic prospect that a sitting president will compel to appear in Georgia to stand trial. Yeah, because presidential immunity exists, so I think they should remove the presidential immunity so people can actually sue Trump. But I don't think that's gonna happen. They're not gonna break the rules because of, like, Trump. They should break the rules because of Trump, but they're not gonna do that. All right. Some gruesome news about Hong Kong this morning. So, in Hong Kong, there was a devastating fire. And I've been keeping myself up to date throughout the day because the death toll has been climbing. And as of now, it has taken 36 people. And 270 are still missing. And thousands evacuated. So, and it will keep climbing, unfortunately. Yeah, because 270 people missing doesn't really scream that it's gonna stop anytime soon. The pictures show several buildings ablaze and thick smoke billowing in the air, dominating the Chinese territory skyline. You mean Hong Kong. Hong Kong skyline. Let's talk what it is. I know it's a Chinese territory, but free Hong Kong, you know. That's why my TikTok streams are getting flagged by TikTok. As night fell, the fire was still burning hours after it was first reported, with more than 760 firefighters deployed to the scene. Social credit negative. I mean, it's already in the negative. It's probably in the negative, like, within thousands. What caused the blaze is still unclear, but here's what we know so far. So where and when did it first start? The blaze broke out at one... Okay, I need to keep a straight face because I need to, like, be professional about this. God fucking damn it. The blaze broke out at Wang Fuk Court, a large housing complex in Hong Kong's Tai Po district, at 14:51 in the afternoon local time on Wednesday. Wang Fuk Court consists of 8 tower blocks, each 31 stories high. 7 have been affected by the fire, Tai Po district councillor Mui Siu Fung told BBC Chinese. They provided 1,984 apartments for some 4,600 residents, according to the 2021 governmental census. Built in 1983, the tower blocks were undergoing renovations and the outside of the buildings was covered in bamboo scaffolding and construction netting. Footage shows the fire spreading quickly through the bamboo. I think the netting also kind of helped that the fire spread quite fast. Because, like, that's literally just like almost like pouring gasoline on a fire if you throw, like, a net made out of like fabric or some sort of yarn. Then it's just poof if the temperature is high enough. There have been reports by residents in some local media that fire alarms did not sound. Tai Po is a residential district in the northern part of Hong Kong, near the city of Shenzhen on the Chinese mainland. Well, I think this question from the news is kind of pointless. Like, how serious is the fire? Without reading this, I would say pretty fucking serious. The Hong Kong Fire Department has classified the place as level 5 alarm, the highest in severity. Within 40 minutes of first being reported, it was declared a level 4, but by 18:22, which is 6:22 p.m., about 3.5 hours later, the level was risen again. The videos are awful. It's probably the same as it is in, like, remember those 9/11 videos, like people jumping off the building. It has been 17 years since a level 5 fire last hit Hong Kong. Local media reported that explosions could be heard inside the building and fire hoses could not easily reach the higher levels. The ferocity of the heat was preventing firefighters from entering the building to conduct rescue operations. Deputy Director of Fire Services Derek Armstrong-Chan told media. Debris and scaffolding of the affected building are falling down, posing additional danger to our frontline personnel. It was difficult, he added, to know when the fire would be fully extinguished, with residents fearing it would burn all night. As well as 767 firefighters, 128 fire engines and 57 ambulances and some 400 police officers were deployed. Do we have a video of that? Well, Dylan Robinson, there's your shout out.
Story that we've seen developing over the last 13. Flames have taken hold across all 8 blocks.
That looks like from a movie set.
Of the development in the northern.
But it is
district.
real.
Some residents are believed to be still trapped inside
Thanks
their
so much,
homes.
bro. No worries, Dylan.
Killed is a firefighter. Well, let's speak to our reporter in.
At least 2 hoses being raised by the firefighters trying to spray 8 buildings, 32 stories each. That is in trouble. This fire will start to call off schools, so no schools for the.
Yeah, like we can see it from here. The netting that they have here, like that is just igniting so easily when you have high temperatures.
Surrounding area tomorrow, and there are also some measures to be implemented to help traffic flow tomorrow. Because the department have appealed to people who would have been trapped inside to try to.
I mean, that water doesn't really do much. Wait, I just joined. What is this live stream about? This is news. We're talking about the Hong Kong fires at the moment. That is the one that then we're gonna jump into the Taiwan news about their expanding their defense budget to 40 billion. Then we go to Europe. Then we go to Africa, and then we finish up in the US. So we have quite a few news stories to catch up on. If you're inside, you're gone. I mean, yeah, and the water they're trying to like hose on the building, it doesn't really help. The temperatures are so high that the water will just vaporize. Hey, horses, thanks for the follow. It's the same if you try to drop water from above. The heat is too much. So unfortunately, with buildings like this, it will take them a long time to get them like shut completely. This world can be so cruel sometimes, I do agree. That's gonna burn quite a long time. It is baffling to me to see people standing so nearby. This picture. It's baffling to see people standing that near to that fire. Not necessarily because there's shit dropping from the building itself, which they are. There is stuff dropping from the building because it's burning. They have scaffolding made out of bamboo. And like, there's debris falling. But because of the smoke. Why are you standing so nearby? Get some distance. And to be fair, you don't really need to stand that close to see what's going on. And
Foxy Mega, bigger, better.
That's just sad.
Mega.
So many lives lost and so many, well, both like literally and figuratively. Literally, like people died in the fires, and people probably are gonna be found dead because there's still 270 people missing. But people lost their houses as well, like apartments as well. So now they're homeless. So it's just tragic. You do got to make a social media post about this. I didn't mean to say that my stupid brother said that. No, it's actually okay. The world can be cruel sometimes. And not just sometimes, a lot of the times recently.
I'm gonna get a...
So, we do know how serious the fire is. The death toll rose significantly early on Thursday morning from 13 to 36 people. Just after midnight, Hong Kong chief John Lee confirmed 279 people were missing. Police officers have been helping residents search for family members by using a loudspeaker, local media reported. I mean, if they're in the fire, they can't really hear that much. At Wednesday night's news conference, the number of those injured was revised down to 15 people after it was initially put to 28. Nice meeting. Hey, thanks for dropping by, Dylan. Hope to see you again. Among the dead is a firefighter, Ho Wai Ho, 37, who had been with the service at Sha Tin Fire Station for 9 years. The fire service says it lost contact with him at 3:30, and about half an hour later found that he had collapsed. He was taken to the hospital but declared dead shortly after. I am profoundly grieved at the loss of dedicated and gallant fireman, said Andy Young, Director of Fire Services. At least one of the firefighters is in a hospital, the Hong Kong Fire Service said. Emergency hotline and shelters set up. Several emergency shelters have been set up, which is really good because people are without houses, to accommodate residents who were evacuated, the government said. The South China Morning Post reported that one of them at Tung Cheong Street Sports Center was full and residents were being directed to other shelters. Another, the Wang Fuk Community Hall, which is just over the road from the housing estate, was deemed unsafe. Evacuees were moved to another shelter further away. BBC Chinese reporter Gemini Zheng saw elderly residents, some using walking stick or wheelchairs, arriving at some of the shelters. Coaches will later transfer them to community halls, which will remain open overnight to accommodate those displaced by fire. I mean, they do need a bit of a long-term solution as well. 6 schools in Tai Po will remain closed on Thursday, the Education Bureau announced, listing the affected schools on its website. An emergency monitoring and support center is operation to manage the impact of the fire, Security Secretary Tang Ping Kong said in a statement. A hotline for the public to ask about casualties has been set up by Hong Kong police. The number is here. Then we need to talk about the Hong Kong and bamboo scaffolding. The tower blocks at Wang Fuk Court are covered in bamboo scaffolding and green construction netting right up to the rooftops because they are undergoing renovations. Such scaffolding has been used in Hong Kong for centuries as bamboo grows quickly and is lightweight and very strong. Many see it as an iconic part of the city urban landscape, but Hong Kong is one of the world's last remaining cities to use it in modern construction. Local media reports in March said the Government Development Bureau has been trying to phase out the use of bamboo because of safety concerns. The push towards using metal instead of bamboo came after a spate of scaffolding-related deaths in Hong Kong. Bamboo scaffolds have instinctive weakness such as variation in mechanical properties, deterioration over time, and high combustibility, as we see now, etc., giving rise to safety concerns, Bureau spokesperson Terence Lamb was quoted as saying. The cause of this fire is still unclear. However, authorities note that it seems to have spread quickly and to neighboring buildings through the bamboo scaffolding. So even though the root cause, what started the fire, is unclear, but we know why it spread so fast and why it's so deadly. And it is because of the bamboo. So, I don't know. What can start fire like that? Well, if they use like gas stoves, that could be a thing. Lighter, cigarette butt, or just, you know, vandalism, terrorism. There's so many different options here. Someone was welding next to it. Do we know that? Not confirmed. Yeah, that's what I... Bye, see you another time, hopefully. Ah, yeah, 100% Dylan. Thanks for dropping by. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and hope to see you again. Hong Kong police and fire departments have established a task force to investigate the cause of the fire, Chief Executive John Lee has said. The rapid spread of the fire was unusual. Well, it really wasn't if we think about what the scaffolding are made out of. It's gonna be really, really hard to figure out like what caused it. Maybe it was China. Just throwing that out there. It could be China. Have you given that a thought? Like, would it be the wildest thing they do to Hong Kong? You know? It wouldn't be the weirdest thing China would do to Hong Kong. If you think about it. Australia's beloved weather website got a makeover. Every time there's news from Australia, they're just freaking weird. It was an unreasonably warm, spring day in Sydney on October 20th. Spring? Oh, they must have spring now. With a forecast of 39 Celsius. A real scorcher. The day before, the state of New South Wales has reported its hottest day in over a century, a high of 44.8 Celsius. But little did the team at the National Bureau of Meteorology foresee that they in particular would soon be feeling the heat. Okay, where's the website? Affectionately known by Australians as the bomb, the agency long-awaited website redesign went live that morning, more than a decade after the last update. Within hours, the bomb was flooded with deluge of complaints. The hashtag change it back went viral. Cries ranged from the new color scheme for the rain radar to furious farmers and fishermen who could no longer put in GPS coordinates to find forecasts for a specific location. And then this week it was revealed that the site redesign had cost about 96 million Australian dollars. 20 times more than the previously stated 4.1 million Australian dollars. Well, it's not that big of an increase, you know? It's cheap. Yeah, I could do it cheaper though. You could just give me like 10 million and I'll do it. Probably do a better job. So, Australian government, if you're listening, I'll do it for 10th of the price. I would then use 1,000 for the website and keep the rest for myself, of course. First, you violate expectations by making something worse. Then you compound the injury by revealing the violation was both expensive and avoidable. I'll do it for 1 mil. Hey! Don't try to undermine me. It's the government IT project equivalent of ordering a renovation, discovering the contractor has made your house less functional, and then learning they charged you for a mansion. A consensus was quickly clear. Please bring back the previous format, one person surmised on social media. It's awful. The most useful features are gone and it's not user-friendly. A waste of taxpayer money. Others say the timing was poor. Why change it on day of severe weather? There were some fans, including one who posted, I like the new site. The front page is much cleaner, but they were few and far between. And they're the silent minority, unfortunately. The vocal minority is the loudest one. Less than 48 hours after the launch, the bomb released a list of tips on how to use the new site, but this was further mocked by disgruntled users. Terrible. You shouldn't need step-by-step instructions to navigate the site. I have to agree. Okay. I guess this is the new site, right? It looks the same. So let's read the rest and see what's the issue. With more than 2.6 billion views a year, Bomb tried to explain that the site refresh prompted by major cybersecurity breach in 2015 was aimed to add improving stability, security, and accessibility. It did little to satisfy the public. Some frustrated users turned to humor. As much as I love a good game of hide and seek, can you tell us where you're hiding synoptic charts or drop some clues? I just love the Australians. Malcolm Taylor, an ergonomist in Victoria, told the Australian Broadcasting Corporation ABC that the redesign was a complete disaster. I'm the person who needs it and it's not giving me the information I need, the plant and soil scientist said. Others appear to accept their fate. I am sure we will get used to it, but it's not intuitive at all. Exactly a week after the debacle, the acting head of the agency was forced to apologize. Wow. You know you done fucked up when you do a weather forecasting page and the head of the bureau needs to apologize. You done fucked up. There were concerns that people had been underprepared for storms in Queensland because of the site's poor usability. The outpouring prompted the federal government to issue a scathing rebuke of the bomb and order immediate changes to their site. I can't see the site as it was. The Bureau clearly has work to do, in that it has lost community confidence in the new website. In a bid to calm the storm, parts of the previous site were brought back to life, giving people the option to use the old features. A month after the relaunch, the new head of BOM, who started his role during the saga, that has to be the top 10 timings of starting a new job. Imagine that you're really happy that you have a new job, you started and you're so like full of energy, and then this shit hits the fan and you're the boss and you're like, ah shit. I admitted that the changes had been challenging for some, and again apologize for the confusion. Inherently we don't and won't always get it perfectly right, but we are constantly striving to get better. But he kicked off another round of criticism by revealing the revamp actually costed 96 million Australian dollars, a figure which covered a full website rebuild and testing of the system and technology that underpin it. Immediately, the government demanded BOM explain how taxpayers' money had been spent efficiently and appropriately, according to the Sydney Morning Herald. Barnaby Joyce, a member of the Nationals, which mainly represents regional communities, said, "We spent 96 million Australian dollars to put a B at the end of the bomb." It's now a bomb. It's hopeless. Oh my god. On the day of the launch, the bomb assured Australians that the community had been consulted on the changes. A test site in the months leading up to the relaunch found customer satisfaction rates were constantly above 70%. Well, you can just buy those. You can just disregard like the people who have bad opinions or experiences of the page. You just don't take those into considerations. Like customer satisfaction rates are completely like you can just manipulate them if you want to. So I wouldn't like. If I was a citizen of Australia, I wouldn't believe this number at all. It's probably closer, like if they took everybody to like 20-30%. The tsunami of complaints suggested that consultation was either perfunctory or they listened to the wrong people. For years, farmers and emergency workers had developed what neuroscientists call procedural memory, reading weather patterns using the site, he explained. It's muscle memory like touching, typing, or driving a familiar road home. Your fingers know where the keys are, your hands know when to turn. The old color scheme included black, which users said was a useful indicator. Wait. The difference isn't that big, though. It is noticeable, but it is not that bad. I think this is, again, like, just a public outrage. But then again, I would be outraged about the budget, like how much they spent money on that bullshit. That would be my main concern about this. The new site, Mr. Pearson said, was scrambling the neurological shortcuts that people had spent a decade building. It's like rearranging all the furniture in your house and then expecting you to navigate in the dark without stubbing your toe. Okay, we are giving... as we've experienced more severe weather and the rising impacts of climate change. As a regular user of BOM's site, Ms. Watson acknowledged the good intentions behind the change, but said her research on the social impact of tech showed that people are getting fatigued by change. It can be hard for people to get excited by new updates and see their immediate benefit when they don't want to have to learn how to use yet another new platform. Laziness. In the tech, as a person who works in the tech industry, like that's what we call laziness, because you need to adapt into new technology all the time. So if you've done that your whole life, like adapt to new technology, for example, us millennials, because we grew with the technology boom. So it doesn't take that long to adapt. So I presume majority of the ones that are complaining are the generation before us and boomers. It's always the old people. This is not the first time bomb was weathered a publicity. Oh my god. I love the news puns that they use all the time. All right, let's play around with the site. So I can change dates. I can change dates quite easily. Okay. Current warnings. Marine wind warning. Okay, let's take. It's we don't probably have frost warnings. That's what I thought. No surf warnings either. Sheep craziest warning. Don't know what the fuck that is. There we go. Cancellation of severe thunderstorm warning. And this was made in 2025. How was this page made in 2025? How do you spend 96 million on this? Yeah, I wouldn't be... I wouldn't be mad about the the functionality of the page, but I'm sorry, but this shit looks like it's made like in the late 90s or early 2000s, not in the year 2025. Okay, now I gotta understand the frustration, and this is the revamped version after the complaints. Yeah. You can also see that this website is made. Ooh. A full ad. Sorry, but bomb is shit. And it's a governmental page, and they spend 96 million on this page. Can I get a rain radar? Apparently not. Okay, temperature. Too complicated. 100%. Okay, sorry Australians, but I do think that I understand your frustration on the website now. This is shit. And I can just imagine what the previous one was. There's too many subpages. There's way too many subpages for this to be user-friendly. The warning to sheep graziers of the Wimmera Southwest Central and West South Gippsland Forecast District has been cancelled. Possible shower. How possible? Yeah. Australia is cooked. Literally. Okay. Now we have a race. Who's gonna start the Third World War? China or Russia? It's one or the other. Could be Israel as well. We have 3 candidates. All have ties to United States. On the front run of like who's gonna start the Third World War? China, Russia, Israel. And all of them has ties to United States. One way or the other. Taiwan plans extra $40 billion in defense spending to counter China's intensifying threats. President Lai Jing declared there was no room for compromise on national security in face of escalation, harassment, and espionage. Beijing's threats to Taiwan are intensifying and its preparations to invade are speeding up, Taiwan's government has said while announcing a $40 billion special defense budget and a swath of measures to counter Chinese attacks. The Taiwan President Lai Ching-te said there was no room for compromise on national security and he was committed to boosting Taiwan's defense in conjunction with US support. This is not an ideological struggle, nor an unification versus independence debate, but a struggle to defend democratic Taiwan and refuse to submit to being China's Taiwan. I'm sorry, but those are fighting words, you know? Those Winnie the Pooh in China is taking those as fighting words. Lai and Defense Minister Wellington Koo announced a spending bump and increase of at least $8 billion on what had previously been flagged on Wednesday after a briefing from the National Security Council. He said Chinese authorities had escalated military harassment, international pressure, and propaganda, as well as espionage and infiltration inside Taiwan. Lai said the most threatening annexation scenario wasn't Chinese military action, but Taiwan giving up. According to a translation of his remarks, history has proven that compromising with aggression only brings war and enslavement, he said. Let me repeat that. Repeat that. That is so true, and that also applies to a different conflict. Well, 2 different conflicts around the world. History has proven that compromising with aggression only brings war and enslavement. I'm sorry, but that's the best mic drop considering what's happening around the world. That is applicable for Israel and Gaza. That is applicable in Russia and Ukraine. That is applicable for, well, the United States and pick a country. Mexico, Venezuela, pick a country. Colombia, Canada. History has proven that compromising with aggression only brings war and enslavement. So that's where it should be. And that's how we should treat all the conflicts around the world, the same way. And that's why all the aggressors should also face consequences. Let's take them one by one. So, Let's take China and Taiwan first because we're talking about that. When the conflict is resolved, the leaders of China should be held accountable and charged. Whatever they haven't done that much to Taiwan yet, except like harass. But if they decide to take like military action, then they need to be charged. Then we jump into Palestine and Israel. The government of Israel, spearheaded by Netanyahu, should be tried for crimes against humanity. Also, the Palestinian leaders, well, in this case, Hamas, all of their leaders should be tried for crimes against humanity. Russia and Ukraine is a bit different because Ukraine is literally just defending. So Russia's government, Kremlin and Putin should be tried for crimes against humanity and sentenced to life imprisonment in a small box in Antarctica. That they will be brought food 3 times a year through a hole, and they would live there for the rest of their miserable life. And after that, all of the aggressors should be demilitarized, which means that they should never have an army. Easy as that. I think. It's not rocket science, you know. He said Beijing's offer of Hong Kong-style one country, two system governance under Chinese rule should be formally considered an inviolable red line of Taiwanese society. I think that's the Tai Po. Or I can't pronounce it. Coup said the extra budget covering 2026 and 2033 would include AI tools to improve current system as well as new missiles and drones. The government would also make improvements to military procurement. Several big-ticket orders from the US have faced significant delays and would create new measures to protect Taiwanese abroad from Chinese traditional repression, he said. The defense budget increase is expected to lift Taiwan's spending to 3.3% of GDP in 2026. And Lai has pledged to reach 5% by 2030. Raymond Green, the representative at the US de facto embassy, the American Institute, said the announcement was a major step towards maintaining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait by strengthening deterrence. A spokesperson of China's Taiwan Affairs Office, Peng Jingzhen, earlier told press briefing that Taiwan was squandering money on currying favor with external powers. This will only plunge Taiwan into disaster. This is applicable for this conflict as well, as it is to the Ukrainian-Russia crisis. China could just fuck off, just like Russia could just fuck off. The conflict would end instantly. China is a bigger threat to Taiwan than Taiwan is a threat to China. So, China, leave Taiwan the fuck alone. Russia, leave Ukraine and the rest of Europe the fuck alone. Concentrate on your own citizens to make life better there. Easy as that. The announcement followed a phone call between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping on Tuesday, in which Xi reiterated his claim over Taiwan and intentions to eventually annex it. Taiwan's return to China is an integral part of the post-war international order, he told Trump, according to Chinese readout. I think China is just waiting if Russia gets away with it. Because if Russia gets away with annexing and claiming territories from a foreign country, I mean, there's no stopping China then. They can literally just do the same thing and follow the same steps as Russia did. And that's it. That's why it's so dangerous to let Russia win the Ukraine war. It also comes amid an ongoing diplomatic spat between China and Japan over the latter's stance on Taiwan, after Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi said her country would likely get involved militarily if China attacked Taiwan. China launched a swath of economic retaliations in response. It has also been further angered by Japanese plans to install a missile on Yonaguni Island, Japan's closest territory to Taiwan, just 110 kilometers off its east coast. Tokyo's defense minister Shinjiro Koizumi visited Yonaguni on Saturday, telling press that preparations were progressing steadily for the installation of a medium-range surface-to-air missile deployment. China's government accused Japan of deliberately stoking regional tensions. Japan's deployment of offensive weapons in areas adjacent to China's Taiwan region is extremely dangerous, deliberately creating regional tension and provoking military confrontation. I'm sorry, but China, take some fucking responsibility. I know your leader is a stuffed bear from a children's cartoon, but take some fucking responsibility. The only one that's causing regional tensions there's two countries, North Korea and China. And North Korea and China are in cahoots, so. We have a firm will, strong determination, and strong ability to defend our nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity. We will crush all foreign interference. Fucking great. Another conflict. Another conflict. Surprised? It is not rocket science. Those big aggressors, the United States. When I'm talking about the United States, we're talking about Israel because it's funded by US. And the only reason why they're doing shit in Middle East is because US is having their back. Russia and China could just fuck off. That's it. End of press release. Guinea-Bissau soldiers say they have taken power after reports of president's arrest. So we have a good old-fashioned coup. A group of military officers say they have seized control of Guinea-Bissau amid reports that the president Umaro Sisco Embalo has been arrested. Shortly after gunshots were heard in the capital, Bissau government sources told the BBC that Embalo had been detained. Military officers then appeared on state TV saying that they had suspended the electoral process and would be in charge until further notice. The West African nation had been awaiting the outcome of Sunday's presidential elections, in which the main opposition candidate had been disqualified for running. Okay. The results were expected on Thursday. Both Embalo and his closest rival Fernando Diaz have claimed victory. Late on Wednesday afternoon, Embalo told France 24 in a phone call, "I have been deposed." Witnesses in Bissau heard gunfire earlier on at around 1 p.m., but it was not immediately clear who was involved in the shooting or if there were any casualties. Hundreds of people on foot and in vehicles fled seeking shelter, and the shots rang out, the AFP news agency reported. Later, General Denis Nkanha, head of the military household at the presidential palace, read out a statement declaring a takeover. He said officers had formed the High Military Command for the restoration of order and closed the border. General Nkana instructed the population to remain calm. In addition to Embalo, the president's army staff and a number of ministers have reportedly been arrested. Guinea-Bissau, one of the poorest countries in the world, has seen 9 coups or attempted coups since it gained independence from Portugal in 1974. I don't know if that's a record, but that sounds really high. But then again, if they have corruption there from either side, like coups they just happen. Embalo has said he has survived multiple coup attempts during his time in office. However, his critics allege he has fabricated crises in order to crack down on dissidents. Guinea-Bissau has a population of just under 2 million people and has been called a narco state by the UN due to its role as a key transit point in trafficking cocaine from Latin America to Europe. Wait a second. Why do I feel like that news was a bit short? Why do I have a feeling that there should be some more information about that news? Whose side is the military on? We need to know, like, whose side do we take? The head of the main opposition by PAIGC party, Domingos Simones Pereira, has also been arrested, Hack said. As well, we just heard that the military is trying to cut off the internet. There's a curfew in place. The man who's supposed to protect the president himself has put the president under arrest. Well, that's a plot twist. The legitimacy of this week's election was called into question by civil society groups and others observers after the PAIGC was barred from running in the presidential race. So, okay. So that, now we know. There won't be a second round, Embalo's campaign spokesperson Oscar Barbosa told the AFP news agency on Tuesday, adding that the president will have a second mandate. Diaz also declared victory, saying in a video post to social media, "This election has been won. It has been won in the first round." Literally, the world is just on fire. There's so much shit going on around the world. Sad to see, but again, it's good to talk about stuff that we don't really see that much in Europe. As France prepares military expansion, how is Europe beefing up its armies? European nations are rushing to bolster the defenses amid Russia threat and uncertainty of US support. I think it's a bit late, to be fair. France will this week become the latest EU country to set out plans to expand its army, with Emmanuel Macron expected to announce on Thursday that military service will be restored, albeit on a voluntary basis, nearly 30 years after the end of the conscription. In the face of Russia's military threat and uncertainty over the US's commitment to defending its transatlantic allies, Europe is rushing to bolster its defenses and its deployment capability after radically cutting them back since the Cold War. Yeah, we try to live in peace, then fucking assholes around us try to start another war. And it's the same asshats that has terrorized us since the, what, 1900s. Earlier than that even. Despite significant losses in its war on Ukraine, Russia is perceived by European militaries as a potential direct threat within 2 to 5 years. Meanwhile, Washington has made it clear that it expects its EU allies to take care of much more of their own defense. But if the issue of defense industry investments is chiefly economic, the question of how to significantly expand the number of full-time armed service members is also very much societal and is leading to heated debates across several countries. Fabien Mandon, France's top general and chief of staff of the armed forces, prompted media and political uproar last week by saying the country must be ready to lose its children, since Russia was preparing for confrontation with our countries by 2030. I wouldn't necessarily go in front of cameras to say that, but at least that guy is probably honest and means that. He's willing to sacrifice children instead of like adults. The International Institute of Strategic Studies think tank wrote in a recent report, most European armies struggle to meet their recruitment targets and retain trained personnel as well as to generate a sufficient reserve. Not Finland, though. Not Finland, though. A lot of European countries should take what the Finnish are doing. Finland has been preparing for a war with Russia for a long time. A long time. One of the biggest reserves in Europe. One of the best militaries as well, because like forever, yeah. Because we knew eventually there's gonna be a lunatic leading Russia who wants to regain the former glory. We saw this coming from a mile away because of our history with the country. And because they didn't change, like, let's not forget, like, Sweden used to be kind of an asshole towards us, but then Sweden became like a civilized country. Russia didn't. And I do think that the reason why Russia didn't really ever civilize was because of the rise of the Soviet Union and the Communist Party, unfortunately. Because the way they led that and the creation of secret police and the creation of like leading with fear, secrets, hiding, secret groups deciding on the fate of the country that nobody knows are in power, the KGB, like everything. And I do think that because that came to power and hold the power so long that they created generational now the leaders in Russia. Well, we do know that Putin was a KGB agent, so Putin was groomed to be that leader who's gonna like follow in the footsteps of Stalin, which he has. Sophia Pesh, a defense specialist at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, said growing military personnel shortfalls were forcing more and more Western European countries to explore various kinds of conscription models. Training cycles will also need to be intensified for reservists, which some countries need to reactivate in large numbers. For countries without a tradition of military preparedness, all this poses a politically and socially insensitive challenge. Several EU countries have some form of conscription led by the Nordics and Baltics, where a total defense underpins military thinking and draft intakes are widening. Finland has one of the world's largest reserves based on universal male conscriptions. That is true. And that is why we have been preparing. If you have that long of a line, like borderline with Russia, you fucking better be ready. That's what we are. Unfortunately, our neighbors are fucking pussies. And they are threatening with nuclear weapons. Because they know they can't beat anyone without them. So their only chance is to evade conflict before the conflict happens, you know? So what they do is threaten with nuclear weapons. I'm running my mouth quite a lot, but I do hate the situation Europe is at the moment, thanks to one fucking country. Sweden reintroduced selective conscriptions with a mandatory registration for men and women, but a strict selection process that takes into account several factors, including physical fitness and youth's willingness to serve in 2018. Denmark's conscription system was extended to women and lengthened to 11 months from 4 in June. Estonia has universal male conscription, while Latvia and Lithuania, like Denmark, set conscripts by lottery if there are not enough volunteers. Elsewhere, Croatia, which abolished mandatory military service 18 years ago, recently restored the conscription while Poland is working on a plan to prepare large-scale military training for every adult male in an effort to double the size of its army. While recent polls have found that majority in several European countries, including Germany, France, and Poland, support some form of mandatory military service, other countries have so far steered clear for conscriptions. Germany's government this month decided against a system of compulsory military service after a bitter debate, opting for a voluntary model instead. But if that fails to find the numbers, it will reconsider a compulsory nationwide call-up. And we know from history that whenever Germany starts to rebuild their army and their military industry, shit is about to get real. We have experience of that twice in the past 100 years, and both times it ended where Germany was banned from expanding their military. So let's see if the third time's the charm, you know. This is so sad. Yeah, I do agree. The reason why this is so sad is because, like, we should, as a society, as a civilization, we should move away from this fucking caveman tribalism, away from trying to kill each other and try to fucking coexist. It's so stupid that we still live in 2025. World War I was 100 years ago. And we used, like, chemical weapons for the first time. We used tanks for the first time. It's just above 100 years ago. It's 2025 now, so it's actually like 107 years ago. But still. And after that, we made an agreement as a civilization never to use chemical weapons again, and the rules of war. Of course, we know that countries broke that agreement. For example, Japan started playing around with chemical weapons and actually tested them on Chinese throughout the 20s all the way up until like the 40s. So they never abide to them. But neither did the US, neither did a lot of European countries, and Russia, Germany, etc. They played around with chemical weapons. Then Second World War happened. Then Germany did a lot of bad stuff. A lot of bad stuff. The Russians did a lot of bad stuff. The US did two really bad stuff, dropping the nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And then we agreed to never do that again. And we are close again to be there. Well, to be fair, we were kind of close already during the 60s, during the 70s, during the 80s, during the 90s, during the 2000s, 2010s, and now 2020s. So literally, we haven't had a peaceful decade. Where's the last peaceful decade? That's the question I want to ask. So let's see if we can. We will not have one. When was the last peaceful decade without war or conflicts? Let's see. What? The closest candidate is 90s, but still they had conflicts in the 90s. This is sad to read. Listen to this. No decade has been entirely free of armed conflicts worldwide. Over 3,500 years of recorded history only about 268 individual years lacked major wars. That's just fucking makes me so sad. Fucking stupid. We as a society are doomed to destroy each other. I know that's a bit of a cream thing to say, but unfortunately, it is also true. Because there's no way to keep the fucking superpowers in check. Even if we make them sign that, hey, you will give up all your nuclear weapons, they're not going to do that. They're going to lie. They've done that in the past. So we can't even trust them because they don't want to do that. Why they don't want to do that, I don't understand. What does it require for us to stop fucking wars, you know? Just baffled. And then Europe needs to do this, which is reignite the full military rebuilding of all the countries. Because there's one country to the east that wants instability and own the whole Europe. And that specific leader of that specific country is willing to throw all of their citizens to the meat grinder. And at the end of the day, ready to push the button to put the fucking continent to nuclear winter. And the saddest thing is the citizens in Russia are like just fine with it. Not all of them, but enough that nothing's going to change. Just a sad situation. We'll see. Trump is supposed to meet Zelensky and Putin real soon, so we'll see where it goes. Hey, Florencio, thanks for the follow. Trader. US representative call for Trump envoy Witkoff to be fired after leaked Kremlin call. I think that was kind of fun, though, to read that they are literally teaching Putin how to talk to Trump. Well, not Putin, but the representative in Russia. They literally were teaching how to speak to Trump to get Trump on your side. That's what a deal maker does. You got to say, look, they want this. You got to convince them on this. No. The president's special mission envoy Richard Grenell, meanwhile, called for the leaker to be fired, not Witkoff. Find the leaker and fire them immediately. No excuses. The anonymous leaker is national security risk. Okay, so if Trump says that's the way to prepare somebody to make a deal, why would the leaker need to be fired if that's just normal talk? I think that should be protected by the whistleblower laws in the United States. But of course, we know the whistleblowers laws in the United States are just bullshit. You know, they are not protecting the whistleblowers because they don't really they play that they care about whistleblowers, but they don't really care about whistleblowers unless it's for the blowing whistle to their opposition or political opponents. Then the whistleblowers are fine. But if it's something bad about my party, then it's like, no. For those who oppose the Russian invasion and want to see Ukraine prevail as a sovereign and democratic country, it's clear that Witkoff fully favors the Russians. We do know that. We also know that Witkoff doesn't use US translators. Witkoff uses Russian translators, which is super risky. It would be the same as like somebody foreign going to Finland and using a Finnish translation when they're trying to do business. Like in Finnish and in Finnish writing, and the Finnish translator needs to translate that for the foreign country person. It would just be like we could just invent anything. That's not a smart business decision. It's not reportedly advised. They advise Kremlin how to talk. Now, me to you, I know what it's going to take to get the peace deal done. Donetsk and maybe a land swap somewhere, Witkoff told Usakov during the 5-minute conversation, according to the Bloomberg's transcript. But I'm saying, instead of talking like that, let's talk more hopefully, because I think we're going to get the deal here. He's got to sell this to Ukraine. He's got to sell Ukraine to Russia, Trump told reporters on board Air Force One as he flew to his home in Florida Tuesday night. Yeah. This whole area is Ukraine. Will always be Ukraine. And even if somehow Trump lets Russia keep that, it's going to piss Russia off. We just constantly call this Ukraine. And I definitely will. I hate invaders. I didn't even know this type of attack existed. More than 200 women alleged drugging by senior French civil servants. What? In case echoing the Bellico trial, dozens of women alleged they were given hot drinks mixed with a diuretic to make them urinate. 3 of them speak out here. What? When Sylvie Delesen, a marketing expert from Lille, was job hunting in 2015, she was delighted to be contacted on LinkedIn by a human resource manager at the French Culture Ministry, inviting her to Paris for an interview. It was my dream to work at the Culture Ministry. But instead of finding a job, Delesen, 45, is now one of more than 240 women at the center of a criminal investigation into an alleged drugging of women without their knowledge in a place they never expected to be targeted. A job interview. Hold your fucking horses. What am I reading? An investigating judge is examining allegations that over a 9-year period, dozens of women interviewed for jobs by a senior civil servant, Christian Negre, were offered coffees or teas by him that had been mixed with a powerful and illegal diuretic, which he knew would make them need to urinate. But why? Negre often suggested continuing the interviews outside on lengthy strolls far from toilets, the women say. Many of the women recall struggling with the need to go to the toilet and feeling increasingly ill. Some, in desperation, say they urinated in public or didn't reach a bathroom in time, wetting their clothes. Some felt a sense of shame and failure that has had an impact on their lives, they said. At the time, I didn't even know this type of attack existed, Delesen said. The alleged assault came to light in 2018 after a colleague reported Negre allegedly attempting to photograph the legs of a senior official, prompting police to open an investigation. Officers found a computer spreadsheet titled Experiments. What? Where he had allegedly noted the times of drugging and the women's reactions. In 2019, removed from the ministry and the civil service, Negre was placed under formal investigation on several changes ranging from drugging to sexual assault. His lawyer, Vanessa Stein, said he would not comment while the investigation continues. Awaiting trial, Negre has been able to continue working in the private sector. Who the fuck hires this guy? Where does he work now? I don't believe in cancel culture, but holy shit. I might make an exception on this. I think there's quite a few of them, so it will be pretty hard to find. I think there's people in the internet who could find this person. Louis Perrault, a lawyer for several of the women, said the alleged druggings under the pretext of a sexual fantasy. This is about power and domination over women's bodies through humiliation and control. 6 years on, the case is the latest in France to cast a spotlight on drug-facilitated abuse, known in the country as chemical submission. The term became prominent last year when Giselle Belligot weighed her anonymity in the trial of dozens of men who were found guilty of raping her after she had been drugged unconscious by her ex-husband. I remember that case. But several women in the job interview drugging investigation said their case was taking too many years to come to trial, only increasing their trauma. 6 years later, we're still waiting for a trial, which is mind-blowing. Oh, fuck yeah, that should be faster. Said one of the women known by the pseudonym Emile. It's taking too long. The justice process is bringing more trauma than healing. That's not what justice is supposed to be about. Delessin was 35 when she was invited to the prestigious culture ministry building near Paris Louvre Museum and was shown by Negre to a meeting room. Out of politeness, she said she accepted the coffee. In an interview situation, I'd never say no. Okay, I'm never gonna accept any offerings from a coffee, especially if it's a politician, especially if the person is French and working for the government. The vending machine was in a busy corridor and Delessin said she pressed the button herself for a lightly sweetened coffee. She said Negre had picked up her cup, turned to greet a colleague, then move across the corridor before returning and handing her the drink. He allegedly suggested going outside to view some monuments, adding, "The weather is marvelous, shall we keep walking?" Delessin said she was led around the Tuileries Gardens and answering questions for a long time, with the entire interview process lasting several hours. She focused on her need for a job, having left her previous position for health reasons and knowing that her savings were dwindling. But I felt an increasing need to urinate, she said. My hands were trembling, my heart was palpitating, beads of sweat ran down my forehead, and I was turning red. I said I'm going to need a technical break, but kept on walking. Hey, Dub Dogger, thanks for the heart and go popular. How you doing? Eventually, she couldn't hold on. I wasn't well. I thought, what can I do? She had to crouch down on the side of a tunnel leading to a footbridge across the Seine. She said, he approached, took off his jacket and said, I'll shield you. I thought that was strange. She was devastated. I thought I'd wrecked my interview. On the way home, she was abnormally thirsty, quickly down in liters of water. My feet were so powerful diuretic. That would explain why she was thirsty. So that kind of makes sense. In the months and years that followed, Delessin blamed herself for messing up. She avoided going to Paris and stopped applying for jobs. I had nightmares, angry outbursts. I didn't look for work. I thought I was useless. 4 years later, 2019, police contacted her. She said she discovered her details had been entered into a spreadsheet along with photographs of her lower legs. She has since been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. The time this is taking to come to trial is weighing on me, she said. The anger is not going away. My fucking God. Like representing such a scumbag. Perrier said the case was on an extraordinary scale and the unusual long investigation amounted in legal terms to secondary victimization of the woman by the justice system. She said Pellico trial was a very important first step and chemical submission remained a vast issue. Hey, thanks for the follow. Let me see who it was. Louis last. Some women have won compensation in a civil case against the state where the culture minister itself was not found to be at fault. The culture ministry official said it was committed to preventing harassment and sexual violence and providing support to survivors. I mean, that person, the... what was his first name? Christian Necre. I think that person should be in jail for the rest of his life. The CGD Cultural Trade Union said, we want the ministry to recognize its responsibility as an employer. There is a systemic problem which enabled a senior civil servant to act like this for a decade. The union said other staff had previously made allegations against him, accusing him of taking pictures of women's legs in meetings. Yeah, I do think the ministry has responsibility there. 100%. Do we check what sort of an asshole this is? Let's put a picture on this. If they dismissed any red flags, they had to play him 100%. If it's this guy, I'm not surprised. Could be. Could be that guy. I think you posted some videos to me as well. Let's see.
So, how does everyone feel about Israel?
Turns out Bubba's not a nickname for Bill Clinton.
Oh, really? No, it's actually a horse.
Oh, hey, Mom, can you pass the Epstein files?
I mean potatoes.
Wait, Uncle Steve, don't you go to one of those churches?
That neglected a starving baby?
So, guys, I was thinking about transitioning.
What are your thoughts?
Wait, Aunt Margaret, you're pro-choice, right?
Seriously, Margaret?
You guys didn't know?
Do I lean left or right?
Yeah.
Well, since this family's 50-50...
Wait, what?
Why don't you guys...
Try to convince me.
Oh, I think Mondami's gonna...
Oh my God, that's the only, good thing being American is those Thanksgiving conversations, because they always go political. And thanks to the Mango Mussolini, there's more topics than ever to have conversations. I do love this video a lot.
Be a great man.
What?
What do you guys think?
So, how does everyone feel about the administration?
Yeah, pretty good.
Feel great. Oh, wait, Cousin Leslie, you voted for Kamala, right? Wait, what?
How do you feel about
Oh my God. What a fucking douchebag. But then again, I would be that guy.
Hey, Aunt Susan, you're pro-Palestine, right?
Yeah, why do you ask?
That's so crazy.
His cousin Jerry's Jewish.
Uncle Jack, you're thankful for Trump?
Yeah.
Hey, Aunt Stacy.
Yeah, what's up?
Didn't you secretly tell me that you voted for Kamala Harris?
Gosh, it is so tragic what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Right? Hey, Aunt Christy.
Yeah, what's up?
Didn't you tell me you were
Happy about Charlie Kirk?
Hey, Uncle Steve.
How many does he have?
Absolutely. Cousin Rachel, come quick. Yeah? Uncle Steve wants to hear about your procedure.
Oh my god. People need to watch this and just spout all of those things in Thanksgiving dinner. 100%.
Welcome to the land of the free. Land of the free? Do we have free healthcare? No. Free transportation? No. Oh, free education? Absolutely not. Free accommodation? No. Free food? No. Free care for the elderly? No. Free shelters for the homeless? Fuck no. Free spaces to hang out? Malls? No, somewhere where shopping isn't the main focus. Oh, absolutely not. Oh, okay. So what's free? Well, you are. You're free to live your life the way you want. Oh, okay. I don't like working. You can stop working at the age of 67. 67? That's way too old. But you have freedom of speech. Oh. Yeah. Well, I think genocide is wrong. Take him away. Right now, take him away. Come on.
Okay. Let's go one by one.
Welcome to the land of the free. Land of the
Well, it's not a land of the free. We know that.
free? Do we have free healthcare?
They don't even have healthcare soon because Trump's healthcare plan is no healthcare. Just money to people. So all these years, he said that he has a concept of a plan. He didn't. And there's no plan. Sorry about that.
No. Free transportation?
Nope, no free transportation, that is true.
No. Oh, free education?
They will not have education soon because they're planning to shut down the Ministry of Education. So fuck education, right? And they're teaching Bible stuff in schools instead of science and actual biology. So
absolutely not. Free accommodation? No.
No, fuck no.
Oh, free food? No.
What? Free food? That's communism. Not even for the children. Like, no free school lunches. Because, that's socialism. That's communism. Fucking, the children needs to work for their food. They need to earn that money to eat. That's the way it goes. Free school lunches? What is this? Soviet Russia?
Free care for the elderly? No.
Free care for the elderly? Fuck no.
Free shelters for the homeless? Fuck no. Free
like you said. The way the United States take care of the homeless, which is not free, is by sending the National Guard to clean that up. Just for the photo shoots. They take the homeless, transport them underground to the subway so they can photograph and take videos from above so they can show to their voters and everybody that, hey, we took care of the homeless. And once the cameras are fucked off, the homeless return.
Free spaces to hang out? Malls? No.
They don't have free spaces to hang out.
Somewhere where shopping isn't the main focus. Oh, absolutely not. Oh, okay. So what's free? Well, you are. You're free to...
You're not free to live how you want to, though.
Live your life the way you want. Oh, okay. I don't like working. You can stop working at the age of 67.
Although, Ben Shapiro said that you should work your whole life. You shouldn't retire. This is a literal quote from Ben Shapiro. He doesn't believe that a person should retire and you should work your whole life. I, on the other hand, think a bit differently. I think we should invest so much on AI and robotics that humans don't need to work at all. And we can just use AI and robotics to do everything. So we can actually live our lives, spending time with our friends, family. Everything is provided. The good old socialist utopia.
67, that's way too old. But you have freedom of speech. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do know that freedom of speech doesn't really exist because, well, the Department of War is now trying to sue the Sedative Seven, or what the hell did they call them, because they reminded soldiers that they have the right to refuse illegal orders. And if you criticize a specific country, that's a one-way ticket to never coming to US again. If you criticize the wrong persons, they're coming after you. So, and it's the same in the previous government. The previous government did similar things. So it's not like it's a unique situation for this government. It's more of so that none of the politicians and citizens, for that matter, they don't really care about the First Amendment, though.
Well, I think genocide is wrong. Take him away. Right now, take him away. Come on.
Perfect. That's a good way to end. All right. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully we have a slower news day tomorrow. Like, not so devastating and sad news. News, probably because Trump has been quiet for a while. So we're bound to get something from Trump tomorrow. But we'll see. Take care, guys. Oh no, where's you?